Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnmadai Purnmeva Vashishyate. So in the last uh, discussion, we talked about certain fundamental elements affecting our day-to-day activities. Today we will talk about very specific daily routine which can transform our life, which can make our life happier, which can increase the level of our energy, and which can reduce our negative thinking. And this I will like to divide it in three parts. The first part will emphasize on the body related issues, the issues which are related to the what we call Panch Mahabhut, the five elements constituting the human body. The second part will be concerning our mind intellect complex, how to regulate that. And the third part would be related to the consciousness. So I would like to begin with the first part first, that is the body complex with five great elements. We said that this was the what you call Navdwara Puri, that is a city with 9 gates. So let us talk about the outer layer of that city, which is our body. Body is a highly complex structure. We all know that despite tremendous progress in science and technology, in genetics, in biology, we have not been able to understand human body and its functioning. An eye specialist spends his whole life to learn how eye operates, but he has not been able to understand that till date. There are a lot of uncertainties, there are a lot of hiccups, there are a lot of facts which are not known to him. It applies to every specialist in their areas of functioning. So we must understand that the body is a complex structure and it is not easy to understand its functioning. That is one thing we have to understand. And therefore, we have to follow the body structure in a very, very simple and harmonious way. The first fact we have to keep in mind is that body is made of food we eat. If the food is not of good quality, the body cannot be good quality. If the food is stale, the body will reflect that staleness. If the food is fresh, it is good, it is according to the requirements of the season, the body would be energetic, it would be alert, it would act efficiently. In Rajasthani, we say, Pehlo Sukh Nirogi Kaya, and therefore we have to keep our body in good health. That is very, very important. This is also important because body is the vehicle for the journey of our soul. If we have to take our soul somewhere, the body is the vehicle which we use. And therefore, we have to keep this body in good health. It's precisely the way when we undertake a journey, we service our car, we have it cleaned, we properly fill our fuel, check everything that everything works well, so that the journey is pleasant and performed on time. Exactly the same way we have to take care of our body. So for taking care of the body, I would like to specify a few things one by one. First thing is that the food has to be according to the seasonal requirements. It has to be light and it has to be fresh. This is also mentioned in Bhagavad Gita in chapter 18. But the fundamental fact is that if you fill your stomach too much, it will create disruption inside. It's like not providing enough space for the digestive system to work. If you eat too little, that is not enough for the energy. Therefore, we have to keep a balance in eating. We have to take food which is fresh, which is seasonal. If you are eating apples in this month, that is no good. The apples are meant for September, October onwards. So that is the time to eat apple. This is the time to eat mangoes. So we should eat mangoes. Because the entire Srishti, entire universe has been designed in such a way, and the things have been made available for us in such a way that we should consume those things which are seasonal. Like lemon comes in big quantity in this season, and because the lemon is useful in this season, particularly when there are certain disruptions due to rainy weather. So just keep in mind that things which are available in the season, fruits, vegetables, use that more. And if those are not available in enough quantity, you can use dried vegetables like dal and other things which can last forever. So that is first thing. The food should be fresh. The quantity should not be too much, should not be too little, and it should be according to the seasonal requirements. The second important uh, point to keep reasonably, good health is to follow the sun cycle. We get up with the sunrise and we sleep after the sunset. The sun actually regulates this universe. The If not universe, we can call it the solar system. And Earth is part of that system. If we go against the solar system, it will disrupt our body functioning. The people who work in the night and sleep in the day, they can never be as healthy as those who follow the sun cycle. You can go and check, and there have been medical tests conducted in these MNCs which are operating large number of these technological driven things here, where people have to work in the night and sleep in the day. Their mental faculties start deteriorating after a while. Some of the people go insane. There has been many studies done on this issue, and therefore continuously defying the cycle of sun is not good. That is the experience all of us have. When you fly from one time zone to another time zone, you realize that this body's clock has to set. What is the meaning of that? Meaning of that is that the body had to adjust to the sun cycle. The primary reason for this is that the sun is the force which digests our food which we eat. When I was talking about pranic energy, I mentioned that the entire pranic energy is governed by the sun. The sun provides the energy for all the five pranas, which are regulating our body system inside. That is precisely the reason that we feel hungry 3 times or 4 times in the day, but in the night time we don't feel hungry. We eat in the morning at 9 o'clock, we eat at 1 o'clock, again we eat at 7 or 6 o'clock, and even in between we keep eating and we have no problem in digestion. We easily digest it because the sun regulates the digestive system. But if you eat even 2 times in the night, what will happen? You will have all the illnesses, the digestive system will be out of order. So let us learn to live with the sun cycle. And this is more important in the young age, particularly for our children, because they try to defy this very often. The night life concept is very live in their mind. And we also experience that concept in our life. And you realize that as soon as you wake up till 1 o'clock in the night, next day your whole day is spoiled. So this is precisely the what we call harmony with the sun cycle. So this is the second principle. We must follow the sun cycle to the extent possible. We should not defy it continuously for days. Even if we have to defy for a short while on a particular day, we should not continue with that defiance forever, because we cannot fight against the sun. The sun is the one which provides the energy for regulating our bodies and our pranic cycle. So that is the second very important principle. The third important principle which we must observe is to avoid things which are not easily digestible in the system, particularly chemicals. Lot of preservatives are used in the food these days. When you take medication, there are a lot of chemicals in those medications. Sometimes in the drinks which you have, there are a lot of chemicals. I will suggest to minimize the chemicals in your food, because chemicals cannot be digested by the body. They leave traces and they have side effects. In fact, the modern science very clearly pronounces that 67% of the diseases we have today in the world are due to the side effects of the medicines we had taken in the past. You would recall that some of the things which were regularly prescribed by doctors in the past are now considered poisonous. So what happened to those patients who were prescribed that medicine for years and they took that medicine? Obviously, they will be suffering later in the life, because the impact of those chemicals can resurface anytime. It's like when somebody takes poison, he dies immediately. But if we take slow poison, we die slowly. Similarly, the chemicals have side effects. Some of them can resurface immediately, some of them after 2 3 years, some of them after 10 years, some of them after even 25 years. So we should minimize the chemical intake inside the body. And that also means we should uh, reduce, the so-called medications which we have to take to the extent possible. If we follow this cycle in the beginning of life, we don't need to take medications. There are many people like myself who do not take any medication, because we follow a cycle of food, a cycle of sun, which is regulating our body properly. So this is the third principle. We should minimize all chemical intakes which can have side effects in the body, because they can really destroy the normal functioning of the body overnight. Their reaction is very strong. The fourth principle is regular exercise. We should, the body is designed in such a way that we have to move the body properly. Whether you do walk, whether you go to gymnasium, whether you do yoga, whether you do swimming, or whether you do horse riding, it's up to you. Whatever exercise regime you choose, you have to follow that, because body is designed uh, for exercise, for regular exercise. In the olden days, people used to work in the fields, and therefore there was inbuilt exercise when you are working in the fields. They used to do hard work, eh, eh, big labor. Now that labor has been replaced by machinery, and therefore we don't have to do hard labor. And that is why we need to do exercise. We need to do running, walking, yoga, or gym, or whatever we do. But we must do. This must form a part of our regular exercise for healthy body. And the fifth thing I would like to mention is a proper sleep cycle. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is necessary for everybody. Some people require 8 hours, some people can manage with 6 hours. But normally after 10 or 10:30, people should sleep, and by 5:30, 6 o'clock, one can wake up. That is the best time to rest the body. Why do we need sleep? Because during the sleep, our entire energy goes inside the body, regulating our internal organs. The waste has to be taken out, the circulatory system has to be repaired. If you have some pain and some fracture, some dislocation, that has to be repaired. And then all, your energy has to be reestablished. This is very, very essential because during the daytime, we spend all our energy outside, on the outside objects, in the activities we do in the world. But during the sleep, all that energy is spent inside the body, repairing the body, restoring our energy. So a proper sleep is necessary. Any induced sleep, any sleep which is induced by alcohol or by tablets is not good. One must avoid that. If you can follow proper cycle, which I am explaining, you will have natural sleep of 6 to 8 hours without any problem. And don't eat too heavy food in the night because that disturbs your sleep. So these are five important principle. Sixth principle, which is on the sidelines, I would like to mention, is that we should keep our habitations inside and the surroundings clean, because they can give rise to variety of illnesses, and therefore a cleanliness is also a requirement. If our neighbors are not clean, we can also suggest them that it is good for our own health and hygiene. So these six principles, if we follow for our body, I think that will take care of most of the diseases. You will be keeping them away, apart from, uh, you know, you don't have to take medications for that. And then if you have to have some small problems, I will suggest regulate your food in such a way. In Ayurveda, there are variety of herbs and special advices which are given, which can strengthen your body system and improve what we call the the system's ability to fight the outside attacks. We 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 call it, the body's power to fight, because we are attacked all the time from inside and outside, and the body is able to throw away all those germs and all those attacks, because it has that power to resist. Now that power can be improved by a variety of things. A few things I will suggest which we can use in our food as part of our regular diet. For example, in this rainy weather, we must take lemon every time. At least one lemon a day is very, very important, because that helps in reducing what we call the amla, the pith, or the impact of, I don't know how to say it in English, but in Hindi it is called amla or pith. The chemical balance is restored by using lemon in this weather. The lemon improves the chemical balance in this season of the year. In the winter season, we should use lot of garlic and lot of adrak. Adrak and garlic strengthen our body in the winter season. It's very, very important. Some people even take what you call saunt. They make something out of saunt. Saunt is dried garlic, and then you make powder out of it. So not garlic, sorry, the adrak, dried adrak. So these are some small tips. Plus we can use a lot of cardamom. We can use clove, long. We can use black pepper, uh, uh, kali mirch, we call it. And even the red mirch, even the regular mirch is very good for cleaning the body and also for improving the what you call uh, our immunity system. So some of these things now, when in the February, in the month of January, February, we get a lot of amla. One should use amla in the food, which will strengthen your, uh, your system inside. Haldi is another very important element. We should use haldi kurma for improving our fight against, all these germs and diseases and viruses. So some of these things should become part of your food depending on the season. I have this experience. I have made many of these things as part of my food habits, and that actually helps tremendously. You should observe your body very regularly. When you observe your body, give 5 minutes when you sit down quietly, observe your body, you will realize that all the deficiencies in the body or all the defects in the body will come to surface. You will feel them. And that is the time to take very, timely action to put them down, to stop them growing further. And that is possible only when you observe your body. Please do observe your body. Body gives proper signals, and the signals, if they are detected early, you can prevent all the big illnesses. So on the body side, I would like to mention these 5 6 things. But please avoid chemicals because they give you instant relief, but then they cause long term damage to the body. Avoid, of course, alcohol, smoking, things which are bring, what you call, constraint your consciousness, which replace your consciousness. Alcohol does what? आपको बेहोश बना देती है, because the consciousness is suppressed. That's what happens. So we should avoid the things which are trying to suppress our consciousness, trying to suppress our natural energy. That is also important. So let me repeat these 5 6 things. Firstly, let us regulate our food according to the season. Don't eat too much, don't eat too little, and eat during the daytime. Then we should follow the sun cycle for eating as well as for our sleep. We should not defy the sun cycle very regularly. Thirdly, we should avoid chemicals to the extent possible, whether they are preservatives, whether they are, in the form of medicines, whether they are in the form of drinks. We should avoid all the chemicals. We should follow a regime of exercise which is suitable for our body. It could be gymnasium, it could be yoga, it could be walking, it could be, jogging, it could be anything else. But we must follow that regularly. And then we have to keep observing our body and induct those items of food which can resist, against the various attacks on the body by improving our immunity. And I gave you the examples of some of those immunities. And let us keep our hygiene both inside the house and outside. That is for the body. This is a very basic precaution which we need to take for the body. Now, one more thing for the body I would like to mention that is related to the pranic energy. That is, how to invigorate our pranic energy, because food we eat is digested and reduced into various body parts with the help of pranic energy. And for that, we need to do pranayam. Uh, Regularly, if you can do some breathing exercise, there are variety of pranayams. You can choose one or two of them just for 3 4 minutes a day. If you can take deep breath and take the breath out slowly, it will improve your oxygen content in the body, your lungs capacity will improve, and that would improve all your body systems. Even while walking and jogging, you do that, because that is, you take deep breath, and that helps a lot in that process. Otherwise, you can sit down in your room and do pranayam for 2 3 minutes. It's not more than that that is needed, because replenishment of the pranic energy is very, very important. And don't put curtains all the time in your rooms, because sun energy should come, that brings the pranic energy inside your house, and sun energy actually invigorates. That is why we always say that we should keep our, you know, ventilation proper, and we should not keep our rooms very dark. And the habitation where people live in darkness, that is not very healthy for the body. So these are some of the basic body related issues. Now I will cover very briefly today a few issues concerning our mind intellect complex. We will go in greater detail in the next talk on the remaining mind intellect issues, but we will touch them briefly today. Firstly, mind, expansion of mind is life. We all realize that the ideas first arise in our mind, and then they take physical shape. If you want to attend this Saturday morning conference, then the idea comes to our mind, and then we, organize ourselves, our systems, our time, and then we attend this. Similarly, if you want to do some shopping, the idea comes in your mind first, and then you organize your schedule, you go to the market, you do shopping. So the physical shape of the things happen after the ideas have come into the mind. So in a real sense, if you think, the expansion of mind is actually the realization of life. As you expand the mind, the life happens. The happenings in the life is the reflection of expansion of the mind. When the mind stops expanding, then outer manifestation of that life will reduce, will stop. So this is one basic principle. Now, mind has a lot of buried stuff inside, which is buried for many lifetimes. We call it subconscious part of the mind. But we are using the frontal portion. It is basically less than 5% of the total mental energy. And most people use between 5 and 10% of total mental energy. Rest is buried